He was reported to be the first boss of the Philadelphia crime family, associated with being a butcher's apprentice, gang activity, and leadership. He would rise to the ranks in the criminal underworld and be one of the most top criminal figures of the 20th century. This is the story of Salvatore Sabella. The beginning. Salvatore Sabella was born on July 7, 1891, at Castellammarese del Golfo, Sicily, Italy. There is very little reports of his childhood and parents, but we were able to come across this information of his adolescent years. Sabella became a butcher's apprentice as a young boy. In 1905, tired of dealing with the butcher's violent outbursts, 14-year-old Salvatore Sabella murdered him. In 1908, Sabella was convicted of the butcher's murder and sentenced to prison in Milan, Italy for 3 years. At some point, either in prison or after his release, Sabella became involved with the Sicilian mafia. After his release, Sabella left Italy for the United States, apparently as an illegal immigrant. In 1912, Sabella arrived in Brooklyn, New York, and joined Salvatore Dacia's criminal organization, which consisted of many other Castellammarese immigrants. During the next few years, mobster Giuseppe Traina trained Sabella for the future role in the organization. Sabella was born in the same Sicilian city that produced Stefano Magnino, Joseph Bonanno, and Gaspare Milazzo. All the mafia figures moved into mafia leadership positions in major American cities: Magnino in Buffalo, Bonanno in New York City, Milazzo in Detroit. Sabella reached the United States before 1915 with his family. The clan settled in the Castellammarese colony in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and Sabella joined the mafia in Brooklyn as a young adult. He reportedly was groomed for leadership by Giuseppe Traina, a truly associated of boss of bosses, Salvatore Dacia. Within a short time, Sabella was selected as rappresentante for mafiosi in the Philadelphia area. He brought some order to the regional Sicilian Italian underworld and established as a pro-Dacia organization. The core of Sabella's underworld organization looked to have been a Castellammarese colony to the north of Philadelphia. But his powerful allies caused South Philadelphia Sicilians and some others to fall in line behind him. Monumental Moments. On January 4, 1919, Salvatore Sabella was reported to have married Maria Galante. He was 27 years old. Maria was 17 years old since she is reported to have been born on November 29, 1901. Mr. and Mrs. Sabella would produce a numerous amount of children and live in the Montgomery County. During the year of 1919, Sabella was sent to Philadelphia to build a Castellammarese Sicilian criminal organization. As a frontman, Sabella started an olive oil and cheese business and a soft drink cafe. However, his real occupation was to build the family and protect his operations from other criminals. Sabella would train future mob bosses such as John Avena and Angelo Bruno to run the family. Angelo Bruno will also be mentored by reputed mob figure and cheese merchant Michael Maggio. The downfall. In 1925, Sabella was a suspect in the murder of rival mobster Leo Lanzetti. On May 30th, 1927, two rebellious members of the Philadelphia organization, Vincent Coscosa and Joseph Zanghi, were shot and killed on a Philadelphia street corner. Zanghi's brother, Anthony, provided police with sufficient evidence to indict Sabella with the murders. Sabella was acquitted, but the authorities discovered that he was an illegal alien. Towards the end of 1927, Sabella was deported to Sicily and Avena becoming an acting boss. And John Avena becoming an acting boss. The Castellammarese War. After Sabella's deportation, the Castellammarese War erupted in New York between the Castellammarese faction led by traditional boss Salvatore Maranzano and primarily Napoleon faction led by Giuseppe Joe the Boss Masseria. The two sides would trade gangland slayings for several years. As a Castellammarese immigrant, Sabella was allied with Maranzano. In 1929, having returned to the United States, Sabella temporarily relocated to New York with 9 gunmen to fight for Maranzano. On April 15, 1931, the war ended with the murder of Masseria. At the time, Sabella returned to Philadelphia and resumed control of the family. The boss is back. The Sabella Mafia feuded for a time with local gang led by Zanghi brothers. In 1927, rival gang leader Anthony Muskie Zanghi appeared to be the target on May 30, 1927, when gunmen unloaded shotguns and automatic pistols in front of the cafe of Calabria, 824 South 8th Street, killing Zanghi's 19-year-old brother Joseph and gang associate Vincent Scabby Koska. Muskie Zanghi managed to escape injury. Future singing sensation Mario Lanza was a witness to the shooting. Zanghi cooperated with authorities in the investigation, leading to the arrest of Sabella, John Avena, John Scopaletti, Joseph Ida, Dominic Festa, Luigi Corranta, and Anthony Dominic Polino, also known as Mr. Miggs. The investigation of the case revealed that Sabella had originally entered the United States without proper documentation and may have been fleeing a Sicilian murder charge when he did so. Consideration was given to deporting Sabella, but he remained in the United States. The Pennsylvania Crime Commission and Philadelphia newspapers have stated otherwise. In 1931, Sabella and his organization were part of a conservative mafia faction in the United States that overthrew the boss of bosses, Giuseppe Masseria, in the 1930 to 1931 Castellammarese War. The victory of conservative Castellammarese forces and elevation of Salvatore Maranzano to the boss of bosses throne momentarily enhanced the status of Sabella and the Philadelphia Mafia. After several months, Maranzano was assassinated. Too closely linked to the murder boss of bosses for safety, Sabella was easily convinced to step down as Philadelphia boss. Retirement. In 1931, Sabella was arrested for assault and battery with a motor vehicle. The same year, some sources stated at the age of 40, Sabella retired from the organization and permanently passed control to the family to John Avena. The reason of Sabella's retirement is unclear. The recent carnage of the Castellammarese War may have prompted him to get out for his own safety. However, according to Philip Leonetti's Mafia Prince, another story unfolds. In the city of Philadelphia, John Avena, a longtime lieutenant under Prohibition-era crime lord Salvatore Sabella, was named the city's first modern-day mob boss. Sabella had sided against Charles Lucky Luciano in his war with the Mustache Pete's, and as a result was told to step down and turn over the reins to Avena. From the moment he assumed power, Avena butted heads with a former ally and one-time Sabella lieutenant named Joseph Dovi. Feeling slighted by Avena's promotion, Dovi immediately challenged his authority. The two men and their respective factions battled for control on the streets for nearly 5 years, a war with the culminated with Avena, the boss, being killed in 1936. Dovey took control of the Philadelphia Mafia for the next decade, expanding the crime family's territory reach into parts of neighboring states New Jersey and Delaware. When Dovey died for natural causes in 1946, Joe Ida, another former Sabella disciple, was named the city's new Don. Ida ruled unfettered for over a decade, but his reign would end following his arrest in the infamous Appalachian Mob Summit in 1957, which ultimately led to his deportation. During these years, Sabella reportedly moved to Norristown, Pennsylvania, where he worked as a butcher for many years. The Demise. On January 14, 1962, Salvatore Sabella died of natural causes. 3 days later, January 17, 1962, he would be interred at the Holy Sepulchre Cemetery. Here is his burial plot information in case you want to pay tribute to the fallen Godfather. He is buried at Section 19, Row 1, Lot 53, as you see here listed on the screen. We will show you his resting place in this video. Today, Salvatore Sabella is buried along with his wife, Maria Sabella. She is reported to have died on July 31, 1988, at the age of 86, a few months of her 87th birthday. And we will also show you her obituary from the newspapers. Some of their children are also buried with them at this family plot. We also want to make note that close to Sabella's resting place is also near Robert Bobby Simone's family plot. Bobby Simone will be the lawyer of future mob bosses of Philadelphia, such as Philip Chicken Man Testa and most famously and infamously Little Nicky Scarfo. Salvatore Sabella is gone, but is certainly not forgotten. He would pave the way for future bosses and leaders of his organization, such as Angelo Bruno, John Avena, Harry the Hunchback Riccobini, and more. This is the story of Salvatore Sabella. The end.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more content. Feel free to give us your feedback and suggestions on who we should do next in the comments. This is Infinitely Productions. We love ya.